Hello, world. Welcome, I am your host Mr. Stag. Today we will be taking a deep dive into Universal Health Services Incorporated, ticker symbol UHS. Universal Health Services Incorporated, UHS, is an American Fortune 500 company that provides hospital and healthcare services, based in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. Services provided by UHS hospitals include general and specialty surgery, internal medicine, obstetrics, emergency room care, radiology, oncology, diagnostic care, coronary care, pediatric services, pharmacy services and/or behavioral health services. Also, they provide capital resources as well as a variety of management services facilities, including central purchasing, information services, finance and control systems, facilities planning, physician recruitment services, administrative personnel management, marketing and public relations. In 2021, its annual revenues were $12.6 billion. Alan B. Miller, who currently serves as the company's executive chairman, founded Universal Health Services Incorporated in 1979. Alan B. Miller, born August 17, 1937, is an American businessman currently serves as the UHS's executive chairman. Miller founded the company to become a large provider of hospital and healthcare services in the United States. His company had revenues of $12.6 billion for 2021. Miller was born in Brooklyn, New York City, New York on August 17, 1937. His father owned a dry cleaner store and his mother worked for a millinery company. As a youth, Miller enjoyed playing sports and worked for a delivery clerk for a grocery store. He also worked for Western Union. Miller played basketball in high school. At 6 feet and 5 inches, he has a height advantage, and his team won a New York City championship in 1954. He received a full scholarship to the University of Utah. He initially started studying in the University of Utah. Ultimately, he graduated from the College of William and Mary. He earned his MBA from the Wharton School. While in college, Miller joined the U.S. Army Reserve Officers Training Corps, ROTC, and was commissioned as a captain in the U.S. Army and served in the 77th Infantry Division after he completed his education. Miller began his career in the advertising industry at Young & Rubicam in New York, one of the industry's largest advertising agencies. As the agency's youngest vice president, Miller learned about entrepreneurship and risk-taking as he worked with his clients. For example, while he was at Yandr, Miller was instrumental in developing one of the first nationally syndicated television programs, a show called Cooking with Graham Kerr. When his former Wharton roommate came to him in 1969 with an idea for a business, Miller decided to leave the advertising industry for a new venture. His new company, called American Medicorp, would build privately owned hospitals in high-growth areas, such as California, Nevada, Texas and Florida, that had few hospitals. 4 years later, in 1973, the company was in financial trouble and Miller's partner had left the company. Miller took over as CEO of American Medicorp and engineered a turnaround that brought attention within the healthcare industry. American Medicorp became the target of a hostile takeover by Humana in 1978. Faced with losing the company, Miller fought Humana's takeover bid. While he was ultimately not able to thwart the takeover, he did force Humana to raise the price it paid for American Medicorp, and generated additional money for all company shareholders. The day after he lost American Medicorp to a hostile takeover, Alan B. Miller started Universal Health Services Incorporated following the same formula for success that had helped him rebuild American Medicorp. Miller has transformed Universal Health Services Incorporated from a startup company that had 6 employees and 0 revenue in 1979 into one of the nation's largest healthcare corporations. In addition to his work with UHS, Miller has served on the boards of directors of the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company and Broadlam. Within 18 months of its founding, UHS owned 4 hospitals and had management contracts with 2 additional hospitals. In 1979, UHS entered Las Vegas with the purchase of Valley Hospital with $250 million in revenue. In 1980, the company chose its first board of directors. In 1981, UHS held its initial public offering. In 1982, UHS purchased 5 hospitals from the Stewards Foundation, marking the first time a for-profit corporation purchased hospitals from a non-profit religious organization. In 1983, UHS purchased Qualicare Incorporated for more than $116 million. The purchase included 11 acute care hospitals and 4 behavioral health hospitals. In 1986, UHS created Universal Health Realty Income Trust, the first right in the healthcare industry. In 1987, UHS annual revenues exceed $500 million. In 1991, UHS stock trading moved from Nasdaq to NYSE. In 1996, UHS annual revenues exceed $1.20 billion. In 1997, UHS acquired an 80% stake in George Washington University Hospital. In 2007, UHS formed UHS Development Company Incorporated to build hospitals. In November 2010, UHS reached an agreement in May to acquire Psychiatric Solutions Incorporated for $3.1 billion. As a result of the acquisition, completed in November 2010, UHS annual revenue exceeds $7 billion. In June 2012, UHS announced its plans to acquire Ascend Health Corporation for $517 million. In February 2014, UHS bought Palo Verde Mental Health for an undisclosed amount, renaming the facility to Palo Verde Behavioral Health. In April of that year, UHS announced the acquisition of the Psychiatric Institute of Washington. In September of that year, UHS stock joined the S&P 500 index and acquired Signet Healthcare Limited for approximately $335 million. UHS was recognized by JP Morgan as an historical extreme winner among select stocks that generated the highest excess lifetime returns over the Russell 3000 index. In August 2015, UHS acquired Alpha Hospitals Holdings Limited for $148 million from private equity group Candic Alpha Group. In September of that year, UHS announced the acquisition of Foundations Recovery Network based in Brentwood, Tennessee for $350 million. In August 2016, UHS bought Desert View Hospital in Pahrump, Nevada for an undisclosed amount. In December of that year, UHS acquired Cambion Group plc's Adult Services division. In July 2018, UHS announced its acquisition of the Danshell Group. In September 2020, consistent with the company's long-standing succession plan, UHS announced that Alan B. Miller would step down as CEO in January 2021. In 2022, UHS was ranked on the Fortune 500 as number 297. UHS owns and operates, through their subsidiaries, acute care hospitals and outpatient facilities and behavioral health care facilities. As of February 24, 2022, they owned and/or operated 363 inpatient facilities and 40 outpatient and other facilities, including the following located in 39 states: Washington, D.C., the United Kingdom and Puerto Rico, acute care facilities located in the U.S., 28 inpatient acute care hospitals, 19 freestanding emergency departments, and 6 outpatient centers and 1 surgical hospital. Behavioral health care facilities, 335 inpatient facilities and 14 outpatient facilities. Net revenues from their acute care hospitals, outpatient facilities and commercial health insurer accounted for 56% of their consolidated net revenues during 2021 and 55% during 2020. Net revenues from their behavioral health care facilities and commercial health insurer accounted for 44% of their consolidated net revenues during 2021 and 45% during 2020. UHS's current stock price at the time of this video is $110.25 with a market cap of $8.20 billion. The stock is currently undervalued according to Simply Wall Street by 49.9% with a fair value price of $219.97. The company has a PE ratio of 10.6. UHS currently pays a dividend of 7% and it has a payout ratio of 8%. The company has earnings per share of 10.41, a gross margin of 38.46%, a net profit margin of 5.93%, and a debt-to-equity ratio of 79.0%. Alan Miller owns 10.03% of UHS, valued at $822.2 million. Tell us what you think about the story of Alan Miller and the future of UHS in the comment section below. Mr. Stag logging off.